Jai Guruji. Welcome to day 6 of our continued series of sharings of Maharaj Satsang. And today I propose to share my experiences related to Seva. Seva is a word we generally attribute to our opportunity and good fortune to do anything related to Maharaj. Verbally, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever way. It's a seva. Anything done in the glory of Maharaj is seva. But this understanding of seva has not come in one day or 2 days. It has built up over time, and I propose that I start from the beginning and take you through my journey in Maharaj's service. When we started going to Empire State, there were very few sevadars who were doing different things related to the functioning of the temple and carrying out the instructions given by Maharaj. So, new Sangat like me had only uh, a role to come there, seek blessings, have chai prasad, have halwa prasad, have langar prasad, and then take his agya and then go home and come back again. But we all had desires that we should be able to do something, and it wasn't happening. I used to see some of the Sangat asked by Guruji to press his feet, and I used to wonder if I will ever get a chance to do anything remotely like that. But that wasn't happening. Uh, I had no courage to ask him whether I can press his feet or not, and he never allowed me and never gave me agya. So one day I just devised a method, and I thought, when I go to seek his agya and I bow my head, instead of simply bowing my head and touching his feet, I will hold on to his feet, press a few times in the process of bending forward and getting up. And that would, over a period of time, will be sufficient to be treated as pressing his feet. It was a good plan. So uh, next time I came, I I had my langar, got his agya to go home, so queued up in the line, and then as I bowed forward, I grabbed hold of his charan, his feet, and slowly bent forward and got up. In the process, 5 6 times I just pressed them, and two things happened. I felt like over the moon, even if for a fraction of a second I've been able to do something that I so desperately wanted to do, and my hands got his fragrance in the process. Every time I did that, my hands will have fragrance, and that fragrance will not just go away easily. And next thing, I will not wash my hands, and I would do nothing as long as I can avoid to clean my hands, wash my hands. I won't even dirty them, else I will have to clean them. So the fragrance stays, and I will stop shaking hands with people for at least one day. And then finally, and there are people say, uh, you touched Maharaj, show me your hands, I want to smell. And then some of them will, others will not, and it was quite a spectacle. But I never told anybody this is what I'm doing. Fair enough. It happened next Saturday again, and I grew bolder by the turn. So initially it was 3, 4 times, then became 7, 8 times, and then I just won't let go. Now that he's allowed me, he may as well allow me properly. But Guruji caught on with this game very quickly. Of course, he knew what was happening, and he allowed me the liberty to do that. But next time when I came and I touched his feet, and with both hands I will grab hold of one, and then I pressed it few times and look at me, and then he in a scolding manner, but I would say pleasant scolding. He wasn't angry. He simply said, "Okay, move on now. This is enough." The closest translation in English to what he said, "This is enough. Now move on." And I quickly withdrew my hands and disappeared from there because I didn't want him to say no for the next time. And then there was next time, and Maharaj was sitting with both his feet on the ground. But when my turn came and I closed my eyes and looked around for feet, they were not there. So I said, "What happened?" And I looked up and I found Maharaj had folded his feet on the seat and he was looking at me and indicating, "Carry on. This is not going on forever." Okay. So embarrassed beyond words, I wasn't very happy. But then he knew my game was up. I wasn't getting I wasn't getting away with this. Yes, auntie.
Uncle, what did he say in Hindi? What exactly he said?
He said, "ओए हो गया चल बस." Okay, so uncle, that's how he said. But so next time, I did not get a chance because as soon as my turn came to take Agya and bow my head, he folded his both his feet and sat on the asan. So next time, he did the same thing. And on the third time, when I was in line and I just prayed to him, "Maharaj, please, I will be very disciplined, only a little bit, but just bring your feet on the ground, please. I want to hold them. I cannot survive without it, but I will not be greedy." And I kept on praying in the line as my turn came. Even though Maharaj had both his legs up, he kept one of it on ground so that I can hold on to it for a few seconds. And it was going on in my mind and just praying to him. And I just praying, "I will not be greedy. Guruji, I'm going to be very disciplined just once, twice, and no more. And please, please put your charan on the floor." And he did that. Unbelievable, unbelievable. That is the kind of interaction you have with Maharaj. And that's the way he listens and he will smile and allow you. And after that, whenever I got a chance, it was only once, twice, on the outer side, 3 times I'll press and he will not say no. But that wasn't every time. It was every now and then he permitted me. But I will have the fragrance, I will keep my hands tight, and next day used to be blessed, and so on. Similarly, when we used to get halwa prasad, in my hands, he will drop prasad from maybe 4 inches, 5 inches height. So his hands will never touch my hand. And the desire to feel that contact was intense. I would always want Maharaj. So on one occasion, as I brought my hands forward, I just prayed, "Maharaj, just don't drop. Please put it in my hand. Let me feel that. Let me feel that touch." And you know what? He actually not only put in my hand, he put it and pressed my hands a little from the top like this. Okay. So It continued, and it was wonderful. But I wasn't greedy thereafter. I was quite content with whatever came my way, but what I came my way was phenomenal. I had gone to Bade Mandir for some work, or maybe I do not exactly remember why I went there, but I went there, and one one of our senior sevadars were washing vegetables, and I requested him, just out of my emotions and feelings, to do seva, whether I can help him wash those vegetables. And he said no. The kind of no which puts a full stop immediately. So you don't ask for the second time. And said it cannot be done unless Maharaj permits and gives agya. So I was quite dejected, to say the least. And I went in a corner and I cried. And I asked Maharaj, I mean, I'm your child. Can I not even wash vegetables? Is this something that I'm not allowed to do? And then it was over and I came back. But I remembered it. Maharaj's birthday celebrations were coming, and I came a little early to Bade Mandir with my auntie, and I left her in the main hall and said, let me go towards the kitchen and see if there is something for me I can do. And there was nobody there. So I wandered around, and suddenly one of the cooks, or maybe cook's assistant, saw me. He had a knife in his hand, the kind of knife which is not knife with a handle, but you have a cloth wrapped around at the end, so that makes up for the handle. And if you don't hold it properly, you can cut your hand. That kind of a knife, makeshift knife, so to say, but very sharp. He had that, and he said, "Uncle, come here," almost demanding me to follow him. And I go inside the kitchen, something that I was not allowed to do unless someone permitted me. So, because he insisted that I follow him in the kitchen, I went. And then he says, who is going to cut these vegetables? There was this huge pile of tomatoes, almost 50 kg plus. And I said, I do not know. And he gives me the knife and said, this is for salad for today's function. Please sit down here and complete it quickly. I was taken aback. Only few days earlier, I wasn't allowed to wash vegetables. And here I am being asked to cut tomatoes, which is almost impossible amount, for Sangat salad. So I just sat there, and for me, my function started that moment and finished with that, because the quantity was so huge. I was at it for a long time thereafter. Long time. Tired, hands tired, and there was no plate on which to cut, so I had to keep it on the side of that huge vessel itself, and I kept cutting and kept dropping it there. Auntie was sitting there, and as she stepped out for langar, I was still busy. Guruji looked at her and smiled, gave her a huge smile, grin, so to say. And she comes out, meets me, and says, Guruji was looking at me, gave me a huge grin. I wonder why. And I said, I know. I know why. Because he was telling you that I have put commander on vegetable cutting seva today, and he is not going to ask for it again. And that was true. It was amazing. So you once you have that emotional connect, he listens to you, and more often than not, it happens, and he makes it happen. That was the first proper seva, so to say, in mandir that I got opportunity to do. And the next thing that happened to me was the next function. I was picked up to distribute vegetables to Sangat during the langar. I remember General Malhotra uncle asking me how long I have been coming to Guruji. And when I told him that it is nearly 2 years, and he looked at me and said, come, here is the big spoon, and you can serve the vegetables today. And that time onwards, it became a regular feature. And I could so easily call myself a Sevadar from that point onwards. So incrementally, involvement in those affairs increased, and it kept on building up from there. From langar distribution to coordination and so many other things which slowly uh, came my way. So as Guruji prepared me and built me up for seva, he gave me seva for me to perform. Just before the big function in Bade Mandir, this time Guruji identified 7, 8 of us and asked us to go to Bade Mandir and do the cleaning seva. I remember all of them. Singla uncle, of course, was there. Mali uncle was there, and we had Jitra uncle, his son, and Singla uncle's son, and so many others. And we cleaned the mandir from one end to another. And in the evening, when we were ready to come home, we got a message from Guruji that we are not going home today, we will stay in the mandir. So all of us, not prepared to stay for the night, but stayed there anyway, doing satsang, sharing experiences, doing other sevas, and slept a little. Next day morning, when we were ready to go after doing our seva, we got a message that Guruji is coming. It's almost felt like he's going to inspect what we have done. So I was a little nervous, just in case he says, this is not good enough. That would not be nice. So he came. I have very clear memory of that moment. Casually dressed in sports shoes, white trousers, and a half sleeve shirt. And he brought parathas for all of us. Stuffed parathas. He he blessed it, gave it to us to eat. We had that, he inspected, and visibly very pleased with the seva that the team had done. How our day was made, our life was made. And then suddenly he started picking up things from the main hall and started distributing it amongst the team. He suddenly picked up something and gave it to someone and another thing and another thing. And then I looked at one particular item made of brass, and I thought to myself, Guruji, that is the one I really want. So don't give me anything else. But just in case he gives me something I don't want to have, I stepped out and went towards the kitchen and stood there. I wasn't there, and I said, let it come to me this way. So I stepped back from there, and then I remember Baba uncle came that side and had the same item in his hand, and he says, Commander uncle, Guruji has asked me, this is for you. I have it with me. This is one of the most cherished memory I have. But you can do that kind of a thing and get away with your guru. This is what happens when you have a loving guru who has taken you in his sharan. This is what happens. So it became what started out as a seva, ended up becoming a lifelong memory, and then something to cherish and something to hold. In 2004, sometimes in the second half of the year, Guruji asked General Kapoor, uncle, to organize a satsang at Clare Farm, essentially for Fujis, for the military people. And then he obviously said that he will invite whomsoever else he will. And eventually the date was fixed for 26th of December 2004. When General Kapoor put together a team, it primarily included Pushkarna uncle, Wing Commander Anil Arora uncle, Commander Nagpal, myself, and few others. So the first time I got an opportunity to play a role in organizing a satsang. General Kapoor, being our senior elder in every possible way, was the guiding force behind that. Blessed by Guruji, it turned out to be amazing experience. I won't go into those details, but the the person that you see speaking to you today wasn't the person when he started coming to Guruji. So I am essentially a modified version of who I was and very improved version in every possible way. And Maharaj has put together this whole thing. I don't take any credit for doing what I do, saying what I say, because essentially it is him. And I remember when General Kapoor, uh, and there is a photograph as in that video of Clare Farm where General Kapoor uncle is introducing all of us to Guruji to say, Guruji, this is your team. In Punjabi, this is your team, and you tell them what, and they will execute it to perfection with full dedication, and words to that effect. And Guruji looked at us and smiled, and our day was made. It was sometimes end 2005 when I felt Maharaj should come to Gurgaon, visit Sangat in Gurgaon, because by that time we have been conducting satsangs, and there was a lot of feel and emotion that if Guruji can come to clear form, I think we can request him to come to Gurgaon also, which he did. But that entire visit and its planning and how Maharaj blessed the Sangat there deserves an independent satsang. So I have set aside a complete uh, session for this, and we're going to talk about it. But what I want to say now is this: for the first time, when Guruji eh, decided to visit Gurgaon, he asked me to prepare invitation card. And I went to office, got hold of some yellow A4 size papers, put the material on the computer, and took the prints. No uh, jazzy stuff. And went to Guruji. He looked at it and approved. And he liked it so much that next time, the next maybe a month later, there was a Mahashivratri function, and I was asked to prepare another invite of the same kind. And it was at that time when I had taken the draft to him to show it to him, Guruji, this is what I have prepared. He looked at it, he liked what he saw, and then he asked me, what is your name? After so many years. And I told him, Guruji, my name is Rajkumar. And then he says, Kya karta? What do you do? So I again repeated the same thing that I had uh, said to him in 2001. Said, I was commander in the Navy, I'm retired. And then looked at me and says, I make you commander for Gurgaon. Gather Sangat there. In Hindi, he said, Gurgaon की संगत का तुझे कमांडर बनाया, संगत ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠਾ कर. Can you can you remotely believe what emotions I went through? This is my Guru. And then again, Baisakhi function came and he asked me to get similar invitation printed again. So I just want to, I have those invitations preserved with me, and I thought you may like to just have a look at them. Even if you cannot read, this is the yellow paper. This is the invitation for Guruji when he came to Gurgaon. 26th February 2006, Mahashivratri function. the one that I just mentioned. And this is 13th April 2006, Baisakhi function. And by the time we came to 2007, we had become a little more organized and we got it printed like this. This is Baisakhi 2007. And that was last instruction in terms of printing these that we got from Maharaj, because May 31st May he took Samadhi. So for me, that is a memory. And there's just one more memory that I have, and let me share that with you, because I'll forget it and may not recollect again. The Saturday before 31st of May. 31st May was a Thursday, if my memory serves me right. We all lined up to take Agya to go home, and we were all lined up. We were all queued up. I must have been 8th or 9th in the line, and there were as many ahead of me. That day, for whatever reason, Maharaj went to left and then looked at me and told me, "Commander, go home." Normally, I would have loved to touch his feet, but because he said, "Go home," from that distance itself, I bowed my head, did not look up, did not look at him. I just have that memory of Maharaj bending to the side, seeing me, and ordering me to go home from there. So I have two memories. One, I regret that for one last time, I never get to touch his feet and press the feet the way I always used to do. That the 3-4 gentle press that he always allowed me. And a pleasant one that he called me out. Now, I can be happy, I can be unhappy, but the fact is that Maharaj has never ever let his Sangat down. We never we never knew the true Shiva in him. A lot of us have learned about the God that Guruji is from the Sangat which joined uh, and came in contact later. We look at you and others like you, and we now realize, God, we were in front of God Himself, and we never really realized it. But tell you what, in a way it was nice. Even By not realizing him to be the Shiva, we were scared like hell. And if we really knew and he had let us know of his true self, it would become unimaginable. So, in a way, it was quite nice that we did not know. For us, he was our guru, he is our guru, but he was our father, head of our family. He was our mother. We could go in front of him, cry, we could laugh. He would cut jokes and we would enjoy that, and he'll get upset and we get scared and so on. But he was still our father, and we loved the fact that we were his children. We are his children. And now we know better. And we know because new Sangat like you have shown us and taught us that all that while Lord Shiva himself, God himself sat on that asana. Now, let me uh, change subject and share something very close to my heart. I'm sure you have heard about it. As we grew a little older in Sangat and we started interacting, we learned that Maharaj sometimes gets prasad from what we call Sachkhand, that is the place where he comes from or he resides normally, his divine abode, and distributes that in Sangat. And we came across people who actually had the privilege and the good fortune of having it and tasting it, and they would do satsang like I'm trying to do now, and they will share that experience a little bit. And I used to tell myself, and look at Guruji, Maharaj, we have heard so much about the divine prasad, but you think we have it in us to be blessed with it? And on one night when I slept off, I got Maharaj in my dream giving me a sweet. I think it was milk barfi. And I remember that dream, Maharaj sitting on a chair, and there's a table in front, and I'm standing opposite. And he says, Commander, take this. This is your prasad, but don't finish it completely. Keep it for later. And then he told me, instructed me as to what that prasad will be used for. I got up in the morning. It was not my Sangat day, but I decided I'm going to go and see him today. I asked my auntie, she says, no, I'm not going. Once in a week is enough. I said, fine, I'm going. Then I told few of my other Sangat colleagues, friends, brothers, and they agreed to come as well. And we were all in Mandir on that day. I still remember halfway through the Shabad, music stopped, and it's not something that normally happens. It happens either when Guruji asks some Sangat to share his satsang, or when he decides to reproduce divine prasad. And somebody whispered in my ear that Maharaj is going to distribute divine prasad today. I had goosebumps. My dream is coming true today, and I'm so glad I'm here. And I still remember his hands folded, joined together, little above his forehead, and then out of nowhere, something appears in his hand. Small quantity, it was not huge, and we were some 250 of us. And true to my nature, as I told you, I used to sit as far behind from the asan as it possibly could be. And then I remember Colonel Joshi, uncle telling the Sangat, from this point onwards, everybody go on the first floor. And my happiness disappeared as quickly as it had come because I thought that small prasad will be finished in the Sangat down below. My turn is not coming. It's like you drop from the sky and get stuck in a tall tree. You still don't get to the ground. So, anyway, reluctantly, the feet became really heavy as we climbed the first floor steps because I didn't really want to go. I wanted divine prasad. Dream was still fresh in my mind. So I sat there and I had Garewal uncle sitting by my side. And I told him, Uncle, in Hindi, I said, Asman se gire khajur mein atke uncle. I'm so we had divine prasad produced and it will be over before my turn comes. This is not fair. And he he pressed my shoulder and said, Commander, if today whole of Delhi also comes, this prasad is not finishing. You will have it. Just wait. 15 minutes later, call comes from down below. Okay, Sangat from the top can come. And we queued up. When my turn came, Maharaj gave me substantial amount of prasad in my hand. Enough that if that much quantity and everybody I'm sure was getting like that is distributed, that prasad would be over in 20 people. But we had whole of Sangat, 250 plus or whatever number it was. Whole of Sangat had that prasad and it was still half done. It was not, and that I remember was given to the owner of RD City, Raheja uncle, and he was given to take it home, and that was his blessing. That was divine prasad. As I started tasting it, you know what? The closest to the feeling I can tell is that as soon as I put it on my tongue, my entire body went into a ice box. It was like instantly it just cooled. It like something full of fragrance and divine in every possible way. It did not go through the normal digestive system. The instant it was on the tongue, it was all over the body. So I had little, an uncle told me, take it home. I remember the dream. I brought it home and then shared a little bit, but then kept the rest as instructed by Maharaj in the dream. And I have seen it only once or twice, but it is the most precious collection that we have at our home. item and stays there and never seen. I do not even remember when I have seen because there's no point. I won't look at it. I'll wait for Maharaj's instructions. And that was so many years ago. That is the satsang related to divine prasad. And they say anybody who is blessed with divine prasad by Maharaj is blessed. So we are blessed. And if there was any doubt, even if I have repeated this before, let me just say Garewal uncle used to normally sit with me on the first floor. Once I bowed my head to Guruji and then came up, and then he came after me, sat by my side, and he told me, Commander, Guruji has blessed you. He said, I have blessed Commander. In Hindi, he said, Guru said, तेरे दोस्त का कल्याण कर दिया. I blessed your friend. And he didn't get the friend, so he said, Keda dost Guruji, which friend? And then Guru said, Oh, Commander. So I'm here. So next time you see anything good or worthwhile in me, you should always know it is not me. What you essentially see and what we see in each other is Guru's blessing on display. On our own, we are good for nothing. So I think today uh, we will stop here. Just enjoy the bliss and the satsang. Think about it and just visualize the awesome Guru that he always is. He is the best thing that happened to us. There's nothing better. Our life is divided in two parts, before Guruji and after Guruji. And if this is life, then before Guruji was no life at all. Jai Guruji, stay blessed, enjoy the bliss. Maharaj Meher Kare. Jai Guruji.